Yo, welcome to Star Enlightenment channel. We in for a good video today. Welcome to everybody that's in this live, seeing this live. Today's going to be a very quick and brief video about how testosterone works from an internal point of view and from a physical point of view, right? When I say internal, that also means, you can also say AKA spiritual point of view, you see what I'm saying? But anyway, so understanding testosterone is a masculine force that is inside of all of us, men and women. Some women have higher levels of it than other women. So, men typically, on average, have more of it than females in general, but some women have more of it than men. Some women have more of it than other women, and some men have higher levels than other men. It is the masculine force that drives a man to have the will to want to create and have a sense of drive, passion, and motivation in his life. It gives a man a certain sense of vitality and uh, energy, basically, you could say. It gives him a lot of energy. It's also attached to the fire energy too, because the fire energy is masculine in nature, and the traits that it play out sometimes is like, let's say, like aggression, a man that could be aggressive, anger. I said passion already, rage. It deals with your blood flow, so a lot of times testosterone. But let's get into physical. Before we get into physical, we're gonna stay on track with the internal, right? I'm trying to let you know what I mean. Now, here's the thing: the air element does deal with testosterone too, from a spiritual point of view. But understanding how makes a difference, right? Give me 1 second, y'all. Hold on. All right, but understand how makes a difference. And when you talk about the air element, see, hey, yo, Mystical Mistrio, welcome to the chat. Much love to you, my boy. Gang, we locked in, soul fam shit, you know what I'm saying? But let's get back into this video, right? So look, I already broke down the masculinity, aka the esoteric element dealing with the masculine energy and testosterone, which is fire. Now I'm gonna break down the other element of the masculine energy, which is air. And this deals with your ability to, you could say cold, to be cold, but more so the ability to be detached, to not really feel as much, to not be too emotional, to be able to think and analyze and be analytical and make sense out of your situation and circumstance without letting the emotions overrule. That's basically all it come down to, is being in a situation where you you let a person be in a situation where they they let their thoughts and stuff like that, they don't let that dictate how they actually feel in their life. And even if they do feel the way that they feel, they don't let their emotions and feelings override the way their, how do you say it, they don't let their emotions and feelings outweigh or dictate their actions, because they're still being logical and thinking and being analytical about the decisions that they're going to make. So that's the best way to say it, as opposed to, like, you think of somebody that's lost into like feminine energy, like emotions and feelings, like the water, then that's going to be a person who is going to be lost in their emotions and feelings. So it's not a right or wrong to these things, but they're more so on that spectrum in general. So when it comes to certain things, they'll be in a situation where they may let their emotions and feelings rule them a lot more than they even thinking stuff out. There's pros and cons to both of these. Being too deep in your emotions and feelings can give you a sense of, not only like a certain sense of being empathic, a certain sense of being somewhat psychic, and a certain sense of kind of knowing what's going on in your surroundings, like a sense of intuition or whatever. But being really logical can help you deal with, like I said, making sense out of your situation, going the distance mentally, and seeing how things will play out without being too overwhelmed by your emotions. Because a lot of times, that's the best way to say it. People that's lost into their emotions too much, they let the emotions rule them. That's like feminine energy. Let the emotions rule. They don't care about the actual thought about if it makes sense or not. They always let the emotion rule. Whereas if you like more so on the masculine point of view, you can still be lost in feelings too, because that still deals with fire. But typically you have more control because you don't have as much waters, aka as much estrogen. So you typically can have these things under control more and use your thoughts in your analyzing, aka even if you are highly emotional, you can use your thoughts in analyzing the situation and making sense out of it and logically, mentally constructing it to see what's actually the best decision that you should make without letting the emotions override that. Whereas the feminine tends to let the emotions override the thought. The masculine typically lets the thought override the emotions. So a masculine person would rather be like, I rather think this out first. I don't care how I feel. I rather think it out. And like I said, there's pros and cons to that. But then the feminine side to be more lost into emotions and feelings. They'd be like, I don't really care about what I think. I don't care how this appears. I don't want to think it out. This is how I feel, and I'm gonna play that out. Both of them have they key points. But a lot of times when you know any spectrum being too far, you can make mistakes. Because if you're too far into thoughts and logic, you're gonna just be in a situation where you're not gonna be listening to your intuition and having a sense of psyche or a sense of inner knowing, and you're only gonna be predicated upon either the external world and what makes sense in front of you, you know what I'm saying, and logic to make sense out of something. But you know what I'm saying, and that may not be good either. But if you lost into the emotions of it, you'll never be able to make sense out of your situations. A lot of times, the thing about emotions is Pisces energy is in that too. So people can have the tendency sometimes to over exaggerate a situation that's not even there. So they may like be making their own illusion. It's not that they actually seeing having intuition. They be deep in illusion, and that be their own world and what they're projecting and how they feel, how they think a person feel about them. You see what I'm saying? Instead of being in a situation where they actually feel deeply inside like something is actually going wrong, they put in their own picture and image about how they feel. Now hold on, I'm gonna take a quick break. Somebody said, can you shout me out? Shout out G Gon FN. Shout you out. 100% shout you out. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you hopping on the channel. Hope you understanding this knowledge. I hope you getting. I hope it's feeding you spiritually and edifying you and stuff like that, so you be spiritually inclined and all that stuff. But that's pretty much how that plays out with the masculine energy from an esoteric point of view. The masculine energy genuinely builds with that thought, aka the air element and the fire element. And this deals with your ability to think, analyze, make sense out of your situations, and actually think and decipher and make good decisions. This is why they make good leaders, because you don't want to just be too chaotic. You'll burn everything down. So you got to have some sense of direction, some sense of making sense and being calm about the situation. Sometimes it takes, that's why air is dry. Sometimes it's stoic. That's why some men come off as stoic, because they're not in their waters. They're not wet. They're not emotional like typically a lot of water signs and all that stuff is. But we're not even talking about from an astrology point of view. We just talk about from an esoteric element point of view. What do we call it? Esoteric alchemy. You see what I'm saying? And that's how that play out. But like I said, that's how it plays out from an internal point of view with the fire. The air, like I said, the logic, making sense out of it, and then you got the fire, which is the passion, the aggression, the rage, the anger, the masculine force. You know what I'm saying? The light, the fire, and all that stuff too. But all those are esoterically and ice is another one too, but that's I guess I can make that in another video, but I'll say that too. Ice is another masculine element too, because even though ice is birthed out of the water element, it's separate, and masculinity is more separate. That's more individualistic type energy. That's why you know when you see fire, fire is very masculine. That's masculine. That's separate. It separates itself a lot of times. You see what I'm saying? But ice is also like that because it deals with the ability to detach, and that's like being that's kind of like air too a little bit with being cold, with not showing emotions and feelings as much because you cold, you cold, you distant, you cold hearted. You're not really feeling much. You don't really care about what other people think. But all these are still positive. It's just positive and negative within all these things. But ice is I want to throw that out. Ice is also a part of the masculine element. Um, but now, from a physical point of view, testosterone deals with a man's overall health. The more testosterone a person has, that's natural now. I'm not saying injections and steroids and stuff and exogenous stuff that ain't healthy. Now, it's different if you boosting your testosterone with the herbs and certain healthy supplements, certain natural supplements that's already grown out of the earth, like certain plants, herbs, foods, vitamins, and minerals and supplements that's natural that boost your testosterone. That's going to be different because at the end of the day, shout out to CGGG, shout out to CGG Gaming. That's still gonna be different because you're still, even though you're using supplements and nutrients, these still are natural. So they ain't doing nothing but what boosting your natural levels of testosterone. If you're doing steroids and exogenous substances and needles and injections and stuff like that, and straight up pills, testosterone booster pills, that's different because you're not boosting your own testosterone naturally. You're putting exogenous testosterone inside of your body, and that's when things can be harmful to a person if they're not doing that either in moderation and are knowing how to go about it the best way. It's a science to these things. I'm not saying people what they should and shouldn't do, but what F people up and what they say too much higher levels of testosterone becomes dangerous. They're not talking about natural. They talk about exogenous substances and sources. When people are taking, like I said, testosterone boosting pills, um, injections, steroids, all that stuff like that. That can harm a person's body if I say like what they don't use and utilize a certain sense of moderation with it, and they don't know how to actually go about it in the healthiest way, like constantly staying and having good exercise. If you're on these things, doing these things in moderation, make sure you have a healthy outlet so that you don't turn out into something that's negative too. And then therefore, honestly, it wouldn't hurt you that much either. I mean, you still gotta know your body and have moderation. A lot of people don't have moderation. They treat it like a drug and it's self-serving. So whatever sport or combat that they in, boxing, MMA, and all stuff like that, it don't really matter because they using that to win and bypass others. Cool, right? But they see it work for them so much, they probably start getting obsessed with it, and they just start being all into it and just going overboard to the point where it's hurting them in life, and they don't want to let it go. There's a lot of older people too, and I get it because when you older, you do want to feel young. That's not just like something that's a big deal, you know what I mean? But anything you do, you gotta have moderation. You really can enjoy yourself and have fun as long as you have a certain sense of moderation. But that's pretty much how that go, and that's how that affect you. But like I said, if you do it natural with natural herbs, natural vitamins, like good supplements, natural whole supplements, herbs, certain natural powders that aren't putting testosterone in your body, but they just boosting your own levels of testosterone, natural. It'll just say natural. Um, then, like I said, these things will over time boost your own natural levels of testosterone. Because it may be something that you lack, that herb, plant, supplement, vitamin that you need that can help your body produce its own testosterone. Therefore, it don't matter how high your levels get within yourself, because this is your own body producing it. It's not going to be a situation where it's unhealthy for you. A man naturally need more levels of testosterone than a woman anyway. And it's vice versa. Like if a woman in a situation where she has too much testosterone and not enough estrogen, it's gonna harm her health. Absolutely, she's gonna have health issues. If a man has too much estrogen and not enough testosterone, it's gonna harm him and make him have health issues because he's not balanced. But you want your testosterone levels as a man to be like higher than your estrogen levels. Sometimes some guys have high levels of testosterone and high levels of estrogen, so they'll show out certain masculine traits, like they may build muscle, but they may still be like super emotional or still be in a situation where they like play out other traits that may be catered more so towards the feminine energy or have certain softer features in different areas. But it won't they just have a higher level of estrogen, but they still have a higher level of testosterone too. But you still, as a man, you want to have higher levels of testosterone and lower levels of estrogen. You still want some estrogen, but or you'll be 100% stoic, just fireball. That would be a different story. But that's where you kind of want to be. You want to have higher testosterone. You want to have lower levels of estrogen. You don't want to have high levels of estrogen. You see what I'm saying? And low levels of testosterone, because you're gonna face health issues. And like I said, just for females need higher levels of estrogen for everything, for them to run smoothly with their breasts, with their body, with their overall health and their endocrine system and organs and all that stuff like that. They need more estrogen and they need less testosterone. You see what I'm saying? So when you see women that's like highly testosterone, if they got high testosterone and they got high estrogen, it might not like hurt them to the max, but they still want to kind of drop their levels of testosterone as much as they can. But they may be able to deal with it more so when it's like they leveled like that and they both high. But you still want to get to the point where your estrogen high and your testosterone is lower. You see what I'm saying? And these things vary in degree, but that's how they play out. Let me read some of our comments. You say CGGG, hello to you. Mr. Gomicho said, yo, will female, what do you think will female fighters have too much? Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of especially MMA fighters when it comes to women, because I used to be in that whole type thing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of, especially in the UFC and MMA, a lot of females have high levels of testosterone. I don't want to say that they inject the girls. I do think a lot of girls are getting injected. I think they put those girls on a certain type of diet and strict regimen that naturally boosts their testosterone levels, which I can't say ain't needed to an extent when you're a fighter like that as a female. Um, as long as they're keeping their bodies healthy and stuff like that and exercising well and transmuting and moving that energy throughout their body and you know balancing everything out, because there's no right and wrong to things. You just want to have a balance. You don't want to be too overbalanced, because you know what I'm saying, because you might have a guy that he want to do a transgender change and he want to be a female, and if he want to be a female, damn, BM boss. Anyway, if he want to be a female, he want to be a female, and AB ain't gonna say there's nothing wrong with that. But he's gonna have to increase his estrogen intake and lower his testosterone intake, and that can cause a lot of health issues if you don't know how to go about that. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And you said, and does more testosterone affect a woman in a major way? Yes, absolutely. A lot of women these days have higher levels of testosterone due to like I don't want to say program. I'm trying to think of the right word. Due to like our foods and lifestyles and habits and all this stuff that is put into foods and in injections when we go get certain shots, um, and all kind of stuff. Just stuff that even be in the air sometimes, due to what they already created to spray in the air just to try to eradicate what the problem they already made in the first place. So we go deep. I ain't get too much in that, but definitely, you see what I'm saying? Definitely. A lot of times when you are a woman and you're in your feminine nature, a woman gonna always have their ways. They're gonna always have their bitchy ways. They're gonna always have their ups and downs because negative energy is a part of the feminine in general. But you gotta understand too, like literal, like negative energy come from the yin. But that's another video. But it's a whatever polarization you are. I don't care if you're a man or woman. If you a man and you got more testosterone and you more masculine, you're gonna want to do more masculine things in your life. If you're a man and you're more feminine, you're gonna be more drawn and attracted to certain more feminine things that you want to do in your life. And vice versa, same thing for a female. If you're a female and you're more masculine, you're gonna be drawn to more and more masculine things. Like I ain't gonna say like you masculine from nature. It's different if you saying like, okay, I want to lead amongst this little social group hierarchy of women that I'm around. But when you have like those leader like that, I'm not saying that you like gay or that you wrong, but technically that's more masculine in nature. But ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? As long as you transmute it and like I say, balance it out where it works for you, and you have a healthy balance of these things. From an external and internal point of view, and you don't let these things overrule you. A lot of women, they don't even know why they feel the way that they feel and why they're drawn to certain things and why they don't want to. I don't even want to use cook and clean because that's so basic, but I'm saying like certain feminine energy things in general, like the ability to want to nurture and all that stuff and have empathy. I feel like a lot of women are in situations where they naturally don't even know why they're drawn to other things and wanting to do things that are more masculine, and they think that it's just like, oh, it's just me, we just a new era. Nah, they indoctrinating us, like they helping us. They trying to conflate our hormone levels bad. That's why a lot of men these days have definitely higher levels of estrogen, and but they would say more bitch made or whatever like that. And not every single guy is like that, of course, and not every single woman is like that because there's always going to be differences. But in general, it is a program, and that is how they're trying to set us to be. And it's almost like an experiment. They're seeing how the things that they put in our food now, how that affect us. How does that gonna affect us mentally? How does that gonna affect how we react with each other? It's just like how they do lab rats and mice. Don't think they ain't doing the same thing now. They doing this for bigger purposes because they trying to see how we gonna react when they really come out with some shit. You see what I'm saying? Some serious shit. They want to see how we react and respond to certain things that come out. Now that's why do you think they got all this propaganda coming out now? With these miscellaneous ass situations on the news that we see or something trending with a celebrity, they trying to see all how we react and respond. All of our hormone levels deal with that type of stuff. So they know when we react a certain type of way, they know what narrative that they feel like that they know that they can push out next or that they can feel comfortable pushing out next. Cause they already have all these things lined out. It's all planned. Even with the whole Simpsons thing, when they be saying about, oh, they they're prophesying or they have can look into the future. Hell no, they they know what they're doing. They're planning this stuff out. It's not like they're so psychic and they know what's gonna happen. No, they are already planning this stuff out, literally. So when they was like, oh, Kamala wearing that necklace, and they had an episode on Simpsons of wearing that necklace, they scheduled that out. They ain't psychic, nigga. They creating this, period. You see what I'm saying? And then you said, do you think there's too much masculine women? I mean, in today's society, like I said, yeah, and I do think it's mainly indoctrination, like I always say. But yeah, I think it's how people are grown. I think it's indoctrination. Yeah. Um, Nobody is any like none, especially I'm gonna just say my generation. I say the world in general, but definitely just really just my generation. I'm like 23 years old, right? 23 years old. So everybody that's like, let's say all the way from like 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, right around there, it's just like you gotta understand nobody really doing their role. No gender is doing their role perfectly. The men aren't fully being masculine in the way that they need to be, as far as what a man actually does, as far as not only just providing and supporting, because that's basic, because you can help a person out sometimes even more than money can, but that's a different, you know, story. But just for you wanting to have something that's create something that's stable for your family, create something stable for your loved ones, or your wife, spouse, or kids. Just that energy in general, the ability to want to protect, the ability to want to be in certain situations where you can be that staff, aka that masculine figure that's fixed, that don't move and shake. Like it's a lot of different things that men don't even know how to handle with themselves emotionally. Like how they know how they approach another man, how they be in situations, how they feel like you if somebody disrespects you, you gotta still off on them or cuss them out and crash out, but not knowing that that's not none of that is masculine. You might end up actually crashing out, but you still didn't go about it in a masculine way. It's you know what I'm saying? And these guys don't know these days don't know nothing about what it means to be masculine. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. These guys don't know nothing about what it means to be masculine. Now I don't. disapprove everybody, because everybody, some people are, I applaud them because they've done what they need to do. They put in the work and stuff like that for where they need to be, where they at now, and they feel like they holding their own as a man, and they probably young too. So I applaud them, but for the most part, just in general, it can also start with this too. Nobody's really teaching people how to really be a man. You know what I'm saying? But let me answer your other question. You said because low key they trying to push this. You gotta be zesty to get women to jump down now with it. Yeah, like they be on some other stuff. Like they done lost the ability to. People say have game, but they done lost the ability to really attract. Cause when you got the energy within you, you're gonna attract that feminine energy regardless. But I give it to you. But there has been a lot of indoctrination too with women of how they think. They think way further of themselves than they really are. You'll have some four or 5 out of 10 female thinking she like an 8 and giving you a hard time. Um, but she only like a 4 or 5, cause some old numbnut done boosted her head up with all these trolls and all these these down bad dudes. They be boosting their head up, making it harder for other people and putting people in situations where they think that they better than they really are, and they really don't. And all because some old clown that's down bad and don't get none is telling the 4 and 5 that she's all that in the bag of chips. All right, so you said I'm trying to yeah, yep. So I feel the same way, and then you said so damn traditional is a rare breed. Oh yeah, and sometimes it's not. I feel like not even about traditional. There's many and thousands of ways that you can go about stuff, but I feel like it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I feel like everybody lost, but it is some good people out there that's in real relationships that are pushing through it together. But I think, like I said, these days of society in general, in this new era, in this generation, in this age, makes it a lot harder for those stuff to be. It makes it so much harder for relationships to last and be long lasting and really meet the requirements that it takes to either be happy or have a long lasting relationship. A lot of these relationships are built off of financial means, physical gains, things that once that wear off, you're gonna be like, damn, what else is there to this person? And that's why a lot of people end up divorcing too, because they realize at some point, like, damn, what else is that person besides this? Is what I was attracted to them for, because I was sexually attracted. What else to this person because they had money? Now I got money. Now what? You see what I'm saying? And so many relationships that's married, boyfriend and girlfriend, all kind of relationships, all had that them same traits around the world. That is just crazy. And I ain't gonna say around the world, but I'm saying America for sure. Now what else you say? I'm more detached from emotions and I think rational, not in a fluent way. So yeah. If you like that, then that's also you mean you might either be in a situation where, from a zodiac, since I know you know about zodiac, so from a zodiac point of view, you might have more air and earth in your chart, and from a physical point of view, even if you do have fire and water or whatever, in general, like I say, your testosterone levels, you might have less estrogen or be in a situation where you might have high testosterone and high estrogen too, but since you do have a certain level of balance, you may be able to articulate better from a physical point of view. Like you may be able to articulate a situation and actually decipher and make proper, clear-minded, rational, like you say, decisions that don't cause you to be chaotic and just make stuff based off of your feelings and your emotions that can burn bridges or make be dumb decisions that you should have thought out better. You see what I'm saying? So you have that ability better. But with that being said, I know I'm just out here rambling, but much love to y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. We 23 minutes in. Hope y'all understand the video. I'm glad y'all stopped by. Hope y'all learned something from it. And y'all hit me up in the comment section, in the chat section, my DM, whatever, blah, 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 blah. If you want a video, and I definitely get back right with you. And I'll be sure to answer any of your questions as well. So y'all have a good day. Peace.